Today I gave in to fear and I was punished by the market. I started out the morning backtesting just to improve my confidence. I'm already secure with my setup in general, but I've found that going back through, doing some backtesting and just tracking it in my spreadsheet actually just does help to build confidence with my setup. And really, my biggest problem right now is pulling the trigger when the setup presents itself. So I wrote down a few notes as I was preparing for the start of the session about 30 minutes before it started. Watching a trade, one of the biggest things for me right now is watching a trade run without me. It actually makes me more mad than losing as long as I followed my rules. And then the next note I wrote was a single win or single loss doesn't actually define me. My success is from repeatedly executing my setup when it presents itself. And then the last one that I wrote, which really is applicable for today, is will a loss prevent me from executing the next setup when it actually presents itself? So yesterday, for some reason, I just felt like there was nothing to lose. I ended up taking two positions and ended up winning. When I say nothing to lose, I just mean I just made the decision that I'm going to take entry no matter what. My main goal now, it almost seems like, is to just execute every setup when it presents itself. Ultimately, my main goal is to be a successful professional trader, and that requires right now executing every setup when it presents itself. So yesterday, like I said, I felt like there was nothing to lose. I took the two positions and won. So today, with MES, we had an initial breakout and then a very deep retest, and then another breakout here at 950, and then another retest. Right here, this was a valid entry that I took at 959, and it just didn't go the right way. It ended up stopping out within 1 minute, and so there was a loss there. I followed my rules and I lost. So this was based on my actual strategy. This was valid, not forced. It just ended up losing. And so I think after a great day, psychologically, it can actually be harder than a bad day. So today, for some reason, after yesterday's wins, it's like there was something to protect. I didn't want to lose my confidence. I needed to protect that. I had been making progress. I didn't want to lose my progress. Just a good feeling overall of when you do have a successful trading day, it's almost like everything is better the rest of the day. So I was trying to protect that. And I think none of that's actually true, though. These are just all just a construct of the mind. The market presented itself again, another opportunity here. This one was extremely good. It ended up being a 40-point run. For whatever reason, I did not take entry here when I should have. And again, I think it's because I was trying to protect my confidence, the progress that I had made so far, and then just the good feelings that I had from the win. And I chose not to enter here. The market presented this opportunity and the brain just starts saying things, especially after this loss that I just had a few minutes before, stuff, maybe it's too late to take the entry. Maybe it's already too far extended. Maybe this really isn't even a retest. Maybe I should wait for something cleaner. These are all thoughts that are going through your mind a million miles an hour. You're coming off of a loss just a few minutes before. And earlier, like I wrote down, one of the main questions is, will a loss prevent me from executing the next setup when it presents itself? And here it did. So the market takes a run. I didn't participate, 40 points. It just kind of reminded me of a baseball player who just spends hours and hours practicing in the batting cage. And then when the game's on the line, he's standing at the plate. There's two strikes already, and he just stands there. He freezes. He watches the ball just cross the plate. Strike three, and he's out. Didn't even take a swing. That's kind of how I felt, very demoralized. Even here at the end of the trade, it consolidated here. This is another one of my entries, but I usually do that when it's down in here, consolidation and then expansion. I think this was a desperate attempt to maybe redeem myself, boost my confidence again. At the end of the day, this one just didn't make it because it had been so far extended. We're already way up 40 points. This is not a safe place to take an entry. The further away from the range with my strategy, it just becomes further and further extended, less and less chance of running. So I think this was a forced entry. Even though it was a valid setup, it was a forced entry based on what I was doing. So it's really fear giving in here when I had just lost and taking a chance to take an actual good position. And then fear up here was I just don't want to miss out. I want to redeem myself. Both were bad motivations. The mistrade, it really wasn't caused by a lack of knowledge. It was really caused by demanding more certainty than my rules require, because that's exactly what happened. The setup met my rules, and then my brain just asked for additional confirmation that really wasn't in my playbook. It wasn't necessary. I had just backtested for 30 minutes before, charted multiple trades in my spreadsheet. Everything was there. It just didn't happen. So the pattern that I saw today, it really wasn't a fear of losing. It was a fear of being wrong. Those sound similar, but they're not quite the same. I think a trader who is fearful of losing, he avoids losses, but a trader who fears being wrong, he's just waiting for extra certainty when it's not necessary. So that's my review for this session, and I'll see you on the next one.